COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
Good afternoon. We're coming on the air now with breaking news in the killing of George Floyd.
From this evening, I must give the British people a very simple instruction. You must stay at home.
2020, a year that we'll never forget. Yet, in the midst of it, we have experienced God's faithfulness like never before. We launched our Love Your Neighbour campaign. We were able to support those in need, supplying everything from fridges to school uniforms. Using the government's match fund, we went on to raise £290,000 for our lighthouse projects, which enabled us to support over 7,000 people. All made possible by you, our 300-strong army of kindness volunteers.
I've seen lots of people who are in very serious need. It's been a great pleasure to be able to help them.
I have to say the reason I do it is I'm totally committed to the aims of the food bank. I enjoy it, I feel valued.
We even had 3 guest appearances by Her Royal Highness the Countess of Wessex, who helped pack food parcels and Christmas hampers. At the end of the year, our lighthouse transformed into a magical winter land for families and their children who we were able to bless with Christmas kindness packages. How we did church life together completely changed. We all learned how to use Zoom and were able to go to church in our pajamas. Despite being online, we continued to worship, pray, and learn together. Our collectives became our front line. We stood together, sharing our vulnerabilities and going deeper than ever before. Some of us who rarely got to meet in person before COVID became part of the conversation, and our daily rhythms grew stronger as we pressed further into prayer. By meeting every morning, noon and night, we've had over 1,000 prayer meetings in 1 year. We launched Emmaus HQ, discipling our young people and learning about Jesus together as families. And despite that pandemic, Emmaus continued to grow. With our biggest year for Alpha yet, we hosted over 200 adults and 45 youth, and 16 of those youth went on to join a collective. Through the Welcome Course, we've welcomed over 50 new people into the Emmaus family. Our Director of Spiritual Formation, Jill, established a new mother house for the 24/7 prayer movement at Waverley Abbey, 1,300 years after the first monks arrived there. Just when we felt we would have to put the brakes on our plans for Founders Studio, the Lord provided the exact funds we needed to complete our renovations. We studied the book of Acts, learned how to thrive with Ephesians, sought ancient wisdom in the Psalms, and processed our disorientation in our Strange Land series. In May, the death of George Floyd sent shockwaves around the world. We leaned into our brothers and sisters in Christ, whose experience of the world is anything but fair, learning about how we as a family could respond to racial injustice. Despite not being able to sing together, our worship team continued to lead us in new ways. They also fulfilled the prophetic word about bringing God's peace to troubled hearts by releasing their first album, Into the Light. In true Emmaus fashion, this year we've prayed and we've obeyed, but we also made sure we played. The end of lockdown is in sight, and soon we will be able to be together, sing together, pray together, and serve together. 2020 has been one of the toughest years ever. But God has been faithful. And here we are, still standing, still trusting, still growing, one family in many homes.